The ocean is calling, and we are answering. From one of America's most historical cities in South Carolina to the surf Mekka of North Carolina. From famous Charleston to Carolina Beach. Join a journey that has it all: lovely cities, beautiful beaches, and a turbulent history. What happened in the last episode? After visiting Jekyll Island on the coast of Georgia, I got in heavy rainstorms that made me reconsider my plans. Instead of stopping for another night in Georgia, I decided to head north faster than planned. After hours and hours in torrential rain, water had started to crawl under my suit, down my neck, in my luggage, and in my boots. But luckily, it seemed like the rain got less the closer I got to the city, Charleston. This feels a bit weird. It feels like I'm the only one around here who is wet from head to toe. Guys, I have so much water in my boots that my feet feel like swimming. But I'm happy because I have heard so many good things about the city Charleston, and I don't know if I would have stopped here otherwise. So this is downtown Charleston, and look at all these people here being in short sleeves and without umbrellas, and the roads being not even wet. Unbelievable what a difference a few hundred kilometers can make. So my boots from the rain, they are so wet. I think the water is standing in them. Oof. Let's see how this is. Oh man, it's not so nice. Oh, what a day. The bad news at this point was I unfortunately had not taken my water-resistant backpack on this trip, but my bag from my Oman journey, which is water resistant but not 100% waterproof at the zippers. So in addition to my gear, also my whole laundry and luggage was soaking wet, and I had to hang it in my hotel room to dry, and I had to wear a damp t-shirt. The good news was though that the sun was coming out in Charleston and made for the perfect afternoon to explore the city and dry the clothes I was wearing. After a completely horrible day in the rain, I made it to Charleston, and there's finally a little bit of sun, and I'm gonna explore this city now. It looks pretty cute. Charleston was founded in 1670 as Charlestown, honoring King Charles II. By 1740, Charlestown was one of the most critical ports in North America for exporting, and an economic boom surged across the colony. With a rich 300-year history, Charleston today is one of America's most beautifully preserved architectural and historical treasures. The first college, museum, golf club, and playhouse in the United States were opened right here, and these are just a few of the countless unique claims to fame you will find in the rich past. In 2019, the famous Condé Nast traveler even named Charleston the best city in the world. And I don't know who of you remembers my failure at Expedition North, where I destroyed my sunglasses. This is another pair that got destroyed now. It's super bent because I had it in my bag without protection, so doesn't really fit me anymore because this is too big. Oh. One of the things to do in Charleston these days is not only indulging in its history or joining one of the famous ghost, historic horse-drawn carriage tours or plantation visits, but as well shopping. Central Charleston is home to a famous flea market that is open 365 days a year. And famous King Street offers a huge selection of luxury stores, even though Charleston itself only has roughly 137,000 inhabitants. Just in case you guys ever wondered about my glamorous life on the road, this is what is part of it. Super wet boots. Hope they get dry. So yesterday was like the worst day of riding in history. I got so wet, my boots got so wet, everything got wet. And I then stopped here in Charleston and tried to dry my things today. Luckily the weather is much, much better. And I'm going up the coast now. And the end goal will be Outer Banks, but I'm not gonna reach there today. I will have 2 more days here along the coast and we will see. Good morning, everyone. What a difference a day makes, or what a difference a few hundred kilometers make. Today looks so much better, and because I got so horrible wet yesterday, I checked the forecast for the next 2 days for the directions I want to head to, and it looks good. Isn't that amazing? I skipped quite a few sites of Charleston. One of them being a plantation that everyone visits and that is very famous, and many celebrities got even married there. But this coast of the USA is the coast of the 13 colonies. And I guess everybody knows that a huge part of their economical wealth was based on slavery, because slaves worked at the famous plantations. Decision time, there is a sign of a plantation here that is a historic state site, and I think we go. I mean, it's part of the history of the area, so we better look at it. I hope that there will be some balanced information and not just a pretty beautiful old millionaire's estate. Wow, the road here is very, very nice. It's actually interesting that so many of these places where people worked so hard and were enslaved feel so peaceful these days with nobody around anymore. So I went out to this old plantation here that is a state historic site, and the surrounding nature is just absolutely stunning. Built between 1730 and 1750 in South Carolina's Santee Delta region, the Hampton Mansion served as the home of the prominent Horry, Pinckney, and Rutledge families. For more than 150 years, planters made very good money growing Carolina gold rice in fields created by African slaves. Today, the Hampton Plantation State Historic Site is home to the remote final remnants of a colonial-era rice plantation and educates visitors about the rice cultivation in the region from the colonial period through the end of the Civil War. To my big surprise, the former plantation now also serves as an interpretive site for the system of slavery. At the height of rice production in Hampton Plantation, some 340 slaves worked on the property. Many continued to live on the plantation long after rice was no longer profitable. So the property and its history also tells the story of the freed people who made their homes in the Santee Delta region for generations after emancipation. Yeah, places like this always leave you a bit
sad because, I mean, obviously it's a beautiful estate and very nice nature, but then as well the history is a pretty dark one because so many people have been enslaved and worked here under really not good conditions as slaves to keep everything in order and to grow plants here, and really, really hard work for them.
So driving-wise, the coast here is a bit like Georgia. We are not traveling on the big I-95 interstate anymore, but on Highway 17, which is the closest route to the ocean, but still pretty far inland, because from here to the coast there is now a lot of wildlife reserves and refuge, and as well big marshlands where there can't be any roads built. Soon we will get closer to the coast again, but before we ride through Georgetown, and I want to as well stop for a short look because it's as well famous historic town, and yeah, why not stopping when we ride through anyways. Georgetown has 66 homes and buildings on the National Historic Register that are within walking distance from downtown, and the city has 5 museums. It actually felt quite charming, but the ocean was calling me, and so I decided to continue my ride after a short walk downtown and at Georgetown's marina. We're riding much closer to the coast again now, but the road actually felt very much like getting bigger and as well much more busy. We will see where we end up. I really feel like a swim in the ocean today, and I looked at the map and it seemed like there are only a few available hotels in Myrtle Beach, so I might go there and stay there. Wow, everything here looks huge. There in front of me shouldn't be the ocean, but it's one big resort style hotel after the other. I don't know if I like that, but I'm not gonna complain if I find a place to stay close to the ocean.
Hello, sir.
Checking in.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if they have rooms.
Yeah, you can't bring a bike under here.
No? Can't I park it somewhere here?
Not allowed to park under here.
Oh, okay. Good, then it's not for me. Thank you so much.
All right.
So I'm now arrived at, I think it's called Myrtle Beach North. And as you can see behind me, it has all these super resort style huge hotels. I anyways thought that I would stay here just to enjoy the beach, and because I quite rode a long time today and I could have done my laundry, but they were so unfriendly when I walked in and asked for a room, and told me I can't park my motorcycle anywhere close and I would have to park it in a parking garage quite a bit away. So yeah, I decided that was it. I'm gonna leave this place, and because it's weekend, everything is booked, so I have to drive another like 1.5 to 2 hours to the next place where I hopefully find a nicer hotel or accommodation or motel. Actually, I would prefer to stay. Yeah, that here was nothing.
Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand waterfront strip offer 60 plus miles of beaches, but is as well called the miniature golf capital of the world, because it offers over 50 mini golf courses to choose from. I continued my ride though and was getting closer to the state of North Carolina. I'm actually very happy that I didn't stay at Myrtle Beach. I might be a bit stubborn with that, but if I can't park my motorcycle close by, the place is not for me. That's my golden rule for finding accommodation. It was still weekend and hotels were still crazy booked. The next possibility I found was 144 kilometers or 89 miles north of Myrtle Beach in the state North Carolina. I'm still traveling on Highway 17 and meanwhile I'm in North Carolina, and I hope this time I picked a nicer place to stay. But it's called Motel where I'm going, so I hope that will be better and a bit more small than what we saw at Myrtle Beach. At the city Wilmington, I turned off from Highway 17 and made my way to Carolina Beach, where I indeed found a room with a perfect view. This is the best thing about the room here. It is motel style, but this view. Carolina Beach is set on a peninsula between the Atlantic Ocean and Cape Fear River, and is known for its stunning beaches and as a getaway from the crowds. Carolina Beach is also a mecca for surfers. The first surfers were already spotted at Carolina Beach in the 1920s. By 1939, lifeguards at Carolina Beach were using long and hollow wooden rescue boards that were purchased and provided by the American Red Cross. First swim in a new state, done. The Golden Sands Motel might not look like the most pretty hotel from the front, but it is indeed one of the most iconic places to stay on Carolina Beach. Even if you don't stay here, don't miss out on having a drink at its pier or dinner at its delicious restaurant. Good morning, everyone. I'm not in a rush today at all because today I kind of start the Outer Banks journey because it's such a, at the same time, small and busy place. I pre-booked the journey a little bit, but that I will show you later. So I'm not in a rush today at all because I only have to drive, I think, 300 kilometers. And that's why I first will have breakfast here at Carolina Beach. Granny's Country Kitchen offers the perfect diner experience to start the day with a hearty breakfast. And I was not the only one who visited Granny's Kitchen in order to find some food. That's it. You're ready to go, guys. Now I'm starting, in the widest sense, the Outer Banks journey. So that was my ride on the coast, on the mainland so far, and now I'm heading to the place that was most recommended for me for this journey by you guys. I'm heading to the Outer Banks Barrier Islands. Thank you guys for joining the journey through southern North Carolina. If you liked the ride, give this video a thumbs up and comment. But we are by far not done with North Carolina yet. The biggest highlights are indeed still waiting to be discovered by us. One of them are the Barrier Islands Outer Banks, and I can highly recommend to tune in next Thursday to discover this peaceful and special place on Earth with me. Hopefully see you all around in the virtual Got to Go travel crew.